Tony,
Hey, how's
Hello,
everybody
Tony.
doing? Hi,
We're
Diarra.
doing great. Hi. Oh, and I love how you pronounced my name. That was perfect.
Thank
mm,
you. Uh, and there's no, it's John, of course.
yeah, this is the most basic name in the
Yeah,
English
in any
language.
language. Uh, First of all, I want to congratulate you on such a funny and wonderful series. It is just off the rocks, just hilarious. Um,
Thank you.
Diarra, I mean, do you have an affinity to comedy?
I do. I mean, I keep saying, and I want Detroit to be known for how funny it is. I think people know, like people look at Eminem, they know the toughness of the city, but Detroiters are funny, man. And I think that we owe a lot of that to our resiliency is our sense of humor. And so my father is really funny. My mom had a great sense of humor. And so yeah, I like to laugh. I think a sense of humor is probably the sexiest trait on a person.
I have been to Detroit a few times. I love the Hudson Cafe. It's one of my favorite places, and it's just a great city to be in. You know, we tend to think of Detroit as something else, but it is just a
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful city.
Yeah, there's a beautiful spirit there. So I'm glad you recognized that.
John, talk to me about your character, Danger, and again how he intertwines in this story.
Yeah, Danger is like going to be the arc of the season. Like this character, when you first meet him, he's sticking up, Diarra. Then by the end of the season, she's wrapping her arms around him. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that, but um, but yeah, it's a nice little art. We'll cut that part out. It's a nice little art that Danger is going to go on, and I'm excited for the audience to get to see him. He's a thug with a therapist, you know what I'm saying? So that pretty much sums up who he is in a nutshell. But he's also just like a real dude that cares about his relationships, and he will go and fight for them tooth and nail.
And Diarra, talk to me a little bit about the difference between Diarra in real life and Diarra, uh, in the series.
There is no difference. I am currently looking for a man who ghosted me. If you've seen him, please contact me. I like to use a lot of, I think, the complexity of who I am. I feel like I'm a Black nerd. I went to the Black nerd school in Detroit, the public school. But I also sometimes have a naivete about me or a silliness about me or goofiness about me. And I try to put all of that into the character. Um, Diarra Brooklyn is a school teacher, which is something that I really took from my mother growing up. My mother was a teacher, and I saw how passionate she was about her students, and also saw how hard it was. So I just pulled. I pulled from myself. I pulled from my mom. I pulled from my friends to sort of craft these characters.
I know that John, you've been involved in a lot of stage work, mostly Shakespeare, from what I gather. Do you find there's a bit of Shakespeare in everything that you do?
Yeah,
Ooh.
Shakespeare is all about language. You know what I'm saying? And what Diarra and the writers created was beautiful language, beautiful storytelling. And whenever you get to be a part of that and have that's a gift to the actor. You know what I'm saying? That's a gift. And you just want to just dive in and sink your teeth into it because it's like a five-course meal. And that's what they gave us, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just really appreciative to be able to do that type of work on screen. Because television and film is a visual medium, whereas theater is language driven. So to be able to fuse both into one show is truly something that I don't think we get to see that often, especially in our genres or the genres that you see us in. So to be able to have that in this show is truly phenomenal, amazing, and you're going to see how that translates on screen because all of the actors, all of the characters are so well crafted. It's like the I always say, it's like an onion, and you just kind of peel them back. So what you see is not necessarily what you get. I should
Yeah, I
say.
love that arc in the characters where you start off thinking one thing and it's totally different. But bouncing off of what John said, Diarra, I'm going to screw up your name sooner or later.
No, no, you're still on point.
Um, do you find that there's rhythms and cadences in speech patterns, of your characters?
100%. I think that there's a poetry in the way that Black people speak. I love the little sayings that I think, especially in Detroit, a lot of our families from the South, and so they sort of carried some of these sayings and some of that, like you're saying, that rhythm up with them. And I do try to lean into that when I'm writing.
As we wind our interview down, I'll start with Diarra. What do you think audiences are going to take away from watching Diarra from Detroit?
I think y'all are going to have a good time, man. And that's really, when we were making it, we were having a good time. And I think that's really what we want people to take away from it. There's so much going on in the world. So it's okay for something to be escapist. I think sometimes we think things have to be hard work to watch to be good. And everyone's like, it was amazing. You had to get to episode 6 before it heated up. And you're like, that's not amazing, you know? So I really want that for people, that when they get home at the end of the night, they put their kids down. It's an adult show. You know, it's sexy. You have to turn your brain on and watch it. But I think you'll be invested in the characters and the kind of twists and turns of the plot.
John, you have the last word. What do you think audiences are going to take away from watching this wonderful show?
I think, like what Diarra said, they're going to be entertained. They're going to be able to see themselves. They're going to be able to relate with the characters. They're going to be talking to the screen and trying to speak sense into Diarra as she goes down this rabbit hole. So they'll be invested, you know. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's entertainment. So we want you to just sit down, grab your glass of wine, and enjoy and take this ride with us for an hour each week, you know. And I think that afterwards they're going to be talking about it, and they're going to be anticipating the next episode and waiting for Thursday to get here, so that way we can get to the next part of this story.
I was going to say, we want you to argue with your coworkers. That's all we want. Because we feel like you're going to get to a point in the season where you're going to be arguing with your coworkers about what's going on in this show.
You a bunch of troublemakers is what you are.
Yeah,
my final question.
trouble.
My final question before we wrap: what was it like smashing an aquarium?
Listen, they wouldn't let me do it. I was like, excuse me, if Tom Cruise can hang off of whatever at 95, why can't I do this? But they were like, they were afraid that the glass was going to go in my eye and all this and that. So I had a beautiful stunt double named Tia. So we have to call her and ask her.
Hollywood Secrets. Both of you, thank you so much for your time. I love the show, and it's on BET Plus. And have a great day.
Sign
Thank
up.
you so much.